Patreon Q&A number 57. I want to thank all 73 of my overpowered, exceptional patrons, guys. You know I love you. Thank you so much for all of your support and being more engaged in this Q&A, you know, because this is what it's about. I want to engage with you guys and give back for all that you've given to me, so thank you again. And to everyone else listening, there's going to be spoilers in these questions and answers, so tread carefully. Kinbaryu asks, do you think the reason why Saitama can't find any satisfying fights is because Blast defeats these enemies before Saitama can find them? Thanks, C. Hey, thank you, Kinbaryu, for the support, my friend. So this is actually kind of plausible because we've already know that Blast took down Elder Centipede, which was a big opponent, obviously. You know, Saitama took him out with a serious punch. Not that he needed to, of course. But I think maybe Elder Centipede maybe could have taken a normal punch. Maybe. Or at least just a standard punch, because there seems to be some kind of distinction between a normal punch and a non-normal punch, if we're like looking at what he did to Orochi. Hard to say, but Elder Centipede was definitely one of those pseudo-satisfying opponents, kind of. But then, recently, we found out that Blast took out the strongest ninja ever, the leader of the ninja village, who would probably be somewhat of a satisfying opponent for Saitama. I mean, probably more satisfying than Flashy Flash, and we saw what they did in their sparring match, which was very impressive from Flashy Flash. So that right there is already showing that Blast has probably taken out all of the most powerful dudes that have existed before Saitama removed his limiter. And Blast retired before Saitama did that. So it's kind of like Saitama missed the mark here, at least going against what would be considered satisfying opponents. So we can only really speculate, but given the evidence that we have, I think it's likely that Blast might have already taken out anyone that would have likely given Saitama a fight at that point. But I don't think there's been any disaster level gods yet. It's kind of been implied that they've never seen anything like that yet. They've only just really had dragons at that point. And, you know, and I think it would be mentioned. There would be like a history of it. You know, they talk more about it. Free-Tshirts asks, hey, Shonen, crazy stuff happened in the new chapter, but I want to save my questions for next week. This week, I'd like to ask you about Zombie Man. So we know that Zombie Man knows about limiters and whatnot, and he was specifically mentioned that he watched Saitama fighting Garo. My question is, what's next for Zombie Man? Is he going to harass Saitama like everyone else, or is he going to do a full-on investigation, or maybe something different? Not sure yet, but would love to hear your thoughts. Have a good week, my guy. Hey, you have a good week too, Free-Tshirts. So we are going to see what's going to happen with Zombie Man for sure. He is one of the characters that's focused on the chapter 107 of the webcomic, and we've seen that those are the characters that one is showing us that the story is going to focus on in the next coming arcs and whatnot, because Flashy Flash was one of them, and he's already having his whole big storyline / arc getting resolved right now. And then we saw what happened with Child Emperor, who was also focused on in that chapter. You know, he found the corruption within the Hero Association, went to the Neo Heroes. And then we have, like, Tank Top Master. Darkshine was also in there. We saw what happened with him. He's having, like, PTSD. He went to the Neo Heroes as well. So then Tank Top Master, and then Zombie Man. You know, last time we saw him, he was with Dr. Genus. He was talking to him about the limiter. He confirmed that his theory about Saitama was true. And then he asked Dr. Genus to remove his own limiter. And Dr. Genus was like, no. But this takoyaki stand or shop, whatever it is, has like a basement to it. Let me show you something. So I think for sure he probably has some kind of experiment down there. What is it? Hard to say. Either it's something that he's working on, kind of like his own little Saitama project where he's trying to produce the next Saitama. Like now, I mean, the focus of this conversation was the limiter. So I assume that whatever's down there has to do with that. So maybe he's trying to make like his own Orochi. You know, because like Psychos kept sending Orochi through the life-death cycle, pushing him past his limits, and got him as powerful as he did. So maybe he's not doing the same exact thing because that would be repetitive, but maybe he found an alternate method of removing one's limiter, since he's the one that understands the most of literally anyone in this world. So maybe he's figured out like an alternate method, or maybe he's going to put them under like a different type of stress test or stress training, something lateral to the death revival thing. Or he's going to buff Zombie Man somehow. Maybe he can't remove Zombie Man's limiter because of his abilities, but maybe he's going to buff him in a different way and make him somewhat comparable to like what a character close to that level, like at Orochi level, could be. Something like that. But what we're going to see next with Zombie Man, I don't think involves him harassing Saitama or anything like that. I think he's going to discover something very important, or he's going to get a buff or something like that. And then maybe he talks to Saitama after that. Bryan asks, what's up, man? Hope everything is good. Yeah, everything is good, Bryan. Thank you for asking. I hope it's the same for you, my friend. My first question is, what are some lesser-known anime/manga you'd recommend for people? So, I don't have a lot of deep cuts, but there is one that I like very much that doesn't really get the recognition that it deserves, and that is Guyver. So I used to follow this very closely back in my middle school/high school days, and it had like a little niche community online. Like, we were on a forum, I forget the name of it, but I hope it's still out there, where we would just always talk about it. And whenever the chapter was released, we would just scrap by just anything, any person that we could get to somehow get us a scan, and then even just get us translations of it. We were so grateful, and it was so difficult to do that at the time, but man, it was just so awesome following that series. I mean, maybe you guys heard of it, maybe not. Like I said, it's not really that well known, but I particularly like the original series from like the 80s and 90s. I forget exactly when it came out, but it has like that cool, gritty, like old school vibe to it. It's very violent too, but it's just, I don't know, it has like a very comforting vibe to me because I used to watch it in my youth, and I really like it. Super fascinating story, a really cool concept to it, great characters. I mean, they did make an updated series, I think, in like the 2000s, and that was fine too, but I just like the retro grittiness of the 90s one. And it still continues in the manga to this day, but it has like a berserk type status to it. It kind of just comes and goes, and like the creator kind of just updates whenever he can, because he's like almost 60 now, and the series has been around since I think like 1985. But the story is great. The manga is awesome. I'm about to go back and actually check it out because I haven't followed it for quite a while now, so there's a lot for me to catch up on. But it's a great series. I mean, if you trust my taste, trust that the Guyver is worth checking out. My second question is, what's your favorite non-anime TV series? I saw you tweet about The Boys on Amazon. I thought it was a great show. Oh, I'm glad that you checked it out. By the way, I don't know what kind of music you like, but there's a cool song called One Punch Man by this Chinese rap group and Ski Mask Slump God and Denzel Curry. Maybe you and everyone else want to like it. Yeah, I actually did check out that song. I think probably the day it dropped. I follow Denzel kind of closely on social media, because he follows me, so it's reciprocal, but yeah, I do like that song. And as for the TV series that I watch, I've been slacking majorly ever since I started getting into the YouTube game. I've just primarily been focusing on manga and anime, and I've kind of lost interest in TV shows, honestly. But YouTube is my main source of entertainment and media. It's just got the game on lock for me. I love it. It never really gets old, and it's always getting better and better. But as for what TV shows I'm currently interested in, Stranger Things, I really like that, and whenever it comes out, I'm going to watch it. I enjoyed season 3, aside from the ending. And then Curb Your Enthusiasm, I really enjoy that show too, and there's going to be a new season, I think, at the beginning of next year. That's probably going to be the next series I check out. And then there's going to be those MCU shows on Disney+. I'm definitely going to check those out. I'm going to get Disney+ as soon as it comes out. That's just a great service. But as for my just favorite series in general, I'm pretty basic when it comes to TV. All of the big, well-received, popular ones, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, shows like that. I love those shows too. Oh, and Trailer Park Boys. I really like that show too. And I heard that there's this show on Hulu called Letterkenny that's kind of like the Trailer Park Boys, so I might be checking that out soon. Chance asks, hey Shonen, I have a One Piece question. In the Whitebeard War, let's say it was time skip Luffy with his fleet of 5,000. Do you think they would have saved Ace and maybe Whitebeard as well win the war? So this is a great question. This is a topic that deserves its own video. But even with time skip Luffy, and when you say his fleet of 5,000, I'm assuming you're talking about the Grand Fleet, and along with the Straw Hats too, because they were of course absent from that war, and they're going to be time skipped as well. So we've got big buffs with Zoro, Sanji. I still don't think it's enough. Now, the only way that I really think that they could successfully save Ace and maybe Whitebeard, but we're just going to focus on Ace, is that they'd have to come up with this elaborate scheme and this plan, and there'd have to be a lot of luck in it to where they just kidnap Ace, essentially, where they sneak him out of there. Because even then, even with the supplementary force that they have with the post-time skip power levels, I still don't think they're going to take Ace by force. The side of the Marines, they just had too much on their side. They had the 3 frigging admirals and Sengoku, who was still active. that's just way too much. I mean, you saw all of the damage that Akainu did. Even Time Skip Luffy and the Monster Trio and Jinbei, still not enough to take on the Admirals, in my opinion. Maybe altogether they can probably take down one, but then they've got all of their other forces backing them up. Like I said, Sengoku's there, and then we have the Warlords there. Like, Mihawk hardly really got his hands dirty. Doflamingo hardly got his hands dirty. So if they were to jump in and supplement the forces as well, still, I just don't think there's enough there. And they're definitely not going to let Ace go. Like, especially Akainu, he would have hunted down anyone. And if he went full out, I mean, he could just literally make it rain fire fists. So, I mean, lava fists. It just, they just still didn't have enough, even at that point. And the Marines just had a little too much advantage on their side there. But they would have done better, for sure. And then Blackbeard's going to show up, and he's going to throw a foil into things, too. It's just like, the only way that they really could have successfully saved Ace and have Whitebeard maybe win is if Shanks showed up earlier. I think that's only the real way that things could have went better for them, essentially. Jordan asks, hey, Shonen, hope everything is going great for you, man. I hope it's going great for you too, Jordan. Thank you for all the support, my friend. I was wondering if you could go over how you think the fights would play out with Bang versus all of Garo's forms. We already know what happened with Bang versus Hero Hunter Garo, but what about the other forms? Let me know your opinion, brother. Keep up the great content, man. You're the GOAT. Hey, thank you so much, Jordan. I really appreciate that comment there. The GOAT is a very significant title. So, we saw, like you said, whooped Hero Hunter Garo, no problem. So we're going to, like, pre-woke Garo at that point. I still think that Bang is a little too much for this version of Garo. He's still clearly the more superior martial artist. He has the best Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist ever because he's the inventor of it. And still, he's just an overall better martial artist. Their strength is probably comparable, like from a physical aspect. Maybe their speed is, maybe, but I still feel like Bang is going to overcome the pre-woke Garo, at least before the one that fought Orochi. Now, it's not going to be such a big wash as it was against Hero Hunter, but he's still going to overcome him nonetheless. So if we're going to like the pre-woke Garo that fought Orochi, now things are going to start getting competitive. Like, Garo's going to have a better chance of probably hurting Bang or landing more shots on him for sure. The speed is going to become more apparent. Maybe he becomes faster than Bang at this point, or maybe he's just a little faster, or maybe he's matching his speed. Reflexes, it's hard to say. Physical strength, maybe he's surpassing him. Maybe not. But I still think Bang is going to overcome this Garo at least. But like, this is going to approach like high diff territory. Like, this is where he's going to really start pushing Bang to like actually try his hardest probably. So if we're going to post Orochi Garo, like the Garo that fought Darkshine, or the Garo that ascended past Darkshine and went on to fight like Golden S, like that's ultra powerful pre-woke Garo. He's like High Dragon at that point. So this is where probably Bang's toughest fight that we've ever would see at this point. Definitely stronger than all of the executives besides like Black S and them, but even though we saw what he did against them. So this is where Bang's definitely going to have to use the abandonment. There's no way about it. Maybe he would have had to use it before to finish the job against the pre-woke Garo that went against Orochi, but this time he's definitely going to have to use it, and really it's up in the air at this point. I don't even think it's a 50-50 chance. I think this pre-woke Garo, the one that fights like Darkshine and Golden S, I think it's possible that he probably takes down Bang even with his abandonment. Now, it's not solid, of course, but given that Bang was held still by Psychos and was taken out by the carpet bombing from Homeless Emperor, I feel like the Garo, like this pre-woke Garo, would probably, I don't know, be able to overcome that possibly. It's difficult to say, but if Bang does defeat this version of Garo, it's like high difficulty, and he's going to need the abandonment for sure. And if we're going to awaken Garo, I don't think Bang really has a chance against him, even with the abandonment. Like, Tatsumaki weakened, like, stressing herself out, full power, could only really momentarily hold Garo still. And I don't think Homeless Emperor's carpet bombing would have really hurt him at all, and it definitely would have incapacitated him the way that it did Bang. His speed, he's faster than Flashy Flash. He's durable enough to take multiple punches from Saitama. This is just way too much for Bang, at least at the 82 years old. Kobi R asks, hey show, this is about episode 119 and the Drive Knight / G5 theory. I know you are 90% sure that the organization is evil and Metal Knight is good. I'd say I'm about 98% sure that the organization is evil and about 85% sure that Metal Knight is good. But I'd also like to know what's your best alternate theory. How do things stand in case Drive Knight is not lying and Metal Knight is the evil one? So this is possible too. I'm not completely writing them out. That's why I'm not 100% on these things. But the only way is that we'd have to find out the truth through panels. We'd have to actually see what happened. We'd have to further see that Metal Knight is in fact wanted the Monster Association to get the drone so that they could in theory take over and hack his robot and take over the Hero Association defense and his forces. It's just outlandish to think that, because Drive Knight, he should have came up with a better story, because I can't even believe it, even in the context of the series, that would happen, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, everything is not looking good. So we'd have to see like a crazy 180 yet again for Drive Knight being good somehow, which he's not, unless he's not affiliated with the organization, which just seems so unlikely at this point. We'd have to actually see like what actually happened when he says that why he was gone those 2 days. He was interrogating monsters and getting information, going behind enemy lines. We'd have to literally see him doing that, which we haven't. We've only seen G5 doing that. So I don't know, unless like G5 tries to kill, well, he's gone now, but if somebody from the organization tries to kill Drive Knight, which doesn't seem likely at this point, I just don't think there's anything that can really redeem Drive Knight. He's kind of showed his entire hand in chapter 119. Metal Knight still could be the evil one, for sure. But I don't think he's as evil as Drive Knight. I don't think Metal Knight's ultimate goal is world domination, more so. Maybe he just wants to control the world for what he feels is justice. Like, I feel that Metal Knight is a good guy. A good guy in the same way that Akainu from One Piece is. Like, they both could be seen as villains because of their harsh stances and their moral ambiguity, which could be considered evil, although it is pragmatic justice, I suppose. But I don't think Metal Knight is evil. I just think that he's just like a stern father who is kind of misguided, but has good intentions. Legandaryus asks, hey Shona, do you think the Deep Sea King is the leader of Atlantis, and that is how they can speak so fluently and are similar to humans? So it's possible that he is, but they never really make any mention of that. Although, like, some of the sea folk do look like they could be a part of, like, some Atlantis type people, you know, because they kind of wore, like, robes or something like that, I guess. But as far as I know, the Atlanteans are more human than monster. I mean, there could be different iterations on the lore and the mythology of it, but Dr. Genus says that the sea folk were kind of born monsters, and that they're like natural enemies to intelligent humans. So it's kind of like something that's always existed in this world, or at least that's the way that he makes it out to be. So I guess that's why they can just speak, because they need to speak in order to be able to be predators to humans in a way. Or that's just how they evolved in this world. I mean, they do say that there's other factors where non-humans become monsters through like pollution, and then he says ambiguously other factors. So they could be mixing with human DNA or something like that, but it just seems like they're just naturally born this way. They're humanoid, they're intelligent the way the humans are, but they're monsters at the same time, and they're kind of like fish people that live underground and can speak the way that we do. Probably for the sake of communicating with humans, but it's kind of odd since they're always in the water and whatnot. Do you plan to make a video on how Saitama will join the S-Class and even a story of how? Yeah, I will definitely do this. I talk about it a little bit in my Saitama Final Battle video, but I will definitely make a standalone video because I do think it's going to happen, and I have a pretty good theory on how it will. ShadowBatX asks, hey Shonen, hope everything is going well with you. I hope it's going well with you too, ShadowBat. Anyways, this is the very first time I'm using Patreon and actually getting to talk to the man himself. First time I saw your channel was your Who the Hell is Blast One Punch Man video, and soon started watching more of your vids and almost all of your Q&A videos. Hey, thanks for checking out all of my stuff, man. I hope it wasn't too boring. Anyway, wanted to say thank you for your entertainment. Hey, thank you for your support, ShadowBat. I'm happy to give all the entertainment I could possibly give. Anyway, question time. Wasn't sure if you were going to make a video about this, but wanted to ask anyways, do you think Genos' big win will be against Drive Knight? Or will a rivalry start to form? Not now, but eventually. Based on your review for Chapter 119, I got the idea that you were hinting that Drive Knight could be a side villain in this arc, and based on Murata's illustrations, made him very ominous. Also, I haven't really seen him in the webcomic, so this could indicate the change in the story's timeline. So, I don't think... I'm actually going to make a video about this Monday, but I don't think Genos... If he does fight him, I don't think he's going to kill him. I think Drive Knight is going to stick around for a while, and I don't think he's going to be like just a side villain to this arc. I think he's like a major villain in this series. He kind of needs to stick around so that the organization is like a big, viable little side group, you know, so we have more factions and whatnot, and we saw that Drive Knight's pretty darn powerful, so he's like the leader of them. He's already comparable in strength. He's not a chump, and we have yet to see his full potential. So I don't think Genos is going to take him out. And if Genos does get a big win, it might be Neon coming back to life or something, or like he just doesn't get a big win, but he gets like big moments where he helps everybody take down somebody, or Orochi randomly comes back. There's that theory out there, and he takes down Orochi, and that's like his significant win possibly, but we'll see what happens. My last question: do you think we will be able to see all of Blast, especially his face, when the manga reaches the Psychic Sister arc, or will there still be a shadow over his face? Chapter 119 basically finalized what his character design is, and I would assume Blast's face had to change since he is supposedly younger when he saves Tatsumaki in the flashback. Unless his features are too similar to a certain character we know that has a stylish beard. Hint, hint. Anyways, thanks for your entertaining videos, and we'll ask more questions whenever I can. Hey, thanks again for the support, ShadowBat. So I do think the shadow will stay on Blast's face. One is definitely waiting to reveal this to us. He doesn't want to see his full, his full identity yet, what he actually looks like. He's saving that for like a present time, not like in a flashback. And I think it's coming soon, more or less, because I keep talking about Blast in the webcomic. Like, that flashback was the most we've ever seen him, and that was kind of at the beginning of this whole big new storyline, this whole big saga, not necessarily arc that the series is headed in. So we're going to see Blast soon, but when we see this Psychic Sisters arc in the manga, I think it'll more or less stay similar. Like, his face will be shadowed, but you bring up a good point about the bearded worker. So maybe they'll make it more shadowy so we can't figure it out. Or maybe they want us to see the parallels. Maybe they want us to see, like, oh, that looks like the bearded worker shaved and younger. You know, I could see that happening too, and I would love that. That would be awesome, but... more or less, I think we will see at least the shape of Blast's face, but we're not going to see the full thing. It's definitely going to stay shadowed. And then we're going to see like more of Blast even because, you know, there's always more stuff added to the webcomic, and I can't wait. But it's going to be a while before we get to this. Maybe like another 2 years probably. SLURM asks, what's up, bro? Are you planning on buying the new One Punch Man game for the PS4? If you've heard of it, what character are you looking forward to seeing most? I actually have heard of it. I've been following closely. I made a video about this as soon as the trailer was released. Check it out on my video game videos playlist. It's on there. I'm very hyped for this game. I can't wait. I signed up for the beta to get access, but I did not get chosen. I'm very upset about that. Well, kind of. It's not that big a deal. But I would have liked to have played it because there's going to be like a beta released in the first week of November. I would have loved to check it out, but I'm not going to be able to do it. Oh, well. The character I'm looking forward the most is Boros. I can't wait to play as Boros. And yes, I'm pretty sure he's going to be playable because you see him on the cover of the game. He just hasn't been announced yet. And if he's like an unplayable boss, I would be extremely disappointed. But I don't think he will. I'm pretty sure he'll be playable. Also, Metal Bat was recently announced. And then somebody else was announced too. But like, I can't wait to play as Bang. Just Saitama too. That's just going to be fun in itself. Moomin Rider. Every character. Literally every character I want to play as. There's like Carnage Kabuto, Vaccine Man, Tatsumaki, Fubuki, Atomic Samurai, Bang. Did I already say him? And then Garo DLC possibility. So yeah, I'm so hyped, looking forward to that game. Gonna be making videos about it all the time on this channel when it comes out. Gonna have a lot of fun with that video, with that game. Gonna be streaming it. Everything that I can do with that game, I'm gonna do it. It has like a cool story mode to it. Since it's October, what's your favorite candy? Thanks for the content, dude. Hey, thank you for your support, SLURM. I appreciate it. So yes, it is October, and Halloween is my favorite holiday. Just October, I just love it in general because it's all Halloween-y. I love the aesthetic. I love the spirit that it brings. But as for my favorite candy, I'm typically like a Kit Kat Reese's dude. I love those two things. Those are my go-to. I usually only mess with those. But recently, the Oreo candy has come out. And that's kind of been added to my trifecta here, because now it's like I'm all about Oreo candy. I love that. I only really eat it around this time because I try not to indulge too much into that stuff because, it's candy after all. But I still enjoy it, but I just in moderation. So it's like Oreo candy, the blue wrapper one, and then Kit Kat and Reese's, and that's pretty much it. Wolf Pup, the #1 patron, asks Konichiwa Shonen, my question is, have you watched the show Elfen Lied? If so, what class/rank, low, mid, high, would you put Lucy at the end of the series in? So I have seen Elfen Lied, but I haven't watched the entire series. I only saw a handful of episodes, so I don't know how powerful she is at the end of the series. But based on how powerful she is at the beginning of the series, she's definitely in a demon level. Maybe a mid, maybe a high demon. Man, I don't know. Can she lift buildings the way that Evil Eye can? As far as I know, I don't think she could. But based off of her abilities I've seen, at least in the beginning of the series, I would say she's like low to mid demon territory for sure. And then she would be S class hero, but towards the bottom of the the rankings, kind of like where Puri Puri Prisoner Tank Top Master is, somewhere around there. Let's say she jumped into the One Punch Man universe and applied her story to that universe because Lucy hates humans mainly because of how she was alienated by her human peers as a child, several of whom she eventually killed after they captured a puppy which Lucy had been caring for and beat it to death in front of her. Do you think she could have joined the Monster Association because of her hatred towards humans, or would one of the S-Class heroes like Child Emperor reach out to her and shed light in her heart? And not all humans are monsters. I can hear him say things like a purpose of human life, no matter who is controlling it, is to love whoever is around to be loved. And that is the only kindness in which love can change the human heart. So it's possible that she could go either way, for sure. I mean, we saw Psychos, a fellow Esper with similar abilities, went to the Monster Association because she hated humanity after the prophecy that she saw. But then we saw Tatsumaki probably would have had a similar fate if she was not saved by Blast, who eventually led her to become a hero. So it really, like you're saying, it really depends on who finds her first. But if it is Child Emperor, I appreciate what you're saying here about him, but he just doesn't personally strike me as the type of person that would do that. He seems to be more like of a realist, a more pragmatist. He doesn't really seem the type of person that would talk about love and stuff like that. That would more so be maybe Puri Puri Prisoner, possibly, or maybe Blast. I don't know. Blast was very stern too. I'm actually not really sure what type of hero would give her like a loving, emotional caring and support like that, because they're all kind of like not so nice, they're like kind of mean, all of them. So I'm not sure who would be the one to at least show her that not all humans are awful and show her that there is love in the world and stuff like that. But there's got to be at least one hero out there that I'm thinking of that possibly do it. But man, just so many of the S-Class heroes, now that I'm thinking about it, are pretty stern and kind of angry all the time. So on a side note, I would like for her to be in a relationship with Zombie Man. That would be cool, because both lived in a dark, tragic past. We also know Zombie Man is not really alive, but not actually dead, depending on how people see him, I guess. A monster in Dr. Genius's eyes. Would Lucy be considered the same as Zombie Man in Dr. Genius's eyes? So I would like for them to be together for sure. Zombie Man definitely deserves some love, considering the way that he is, and he is considered to be somewhat handsome in this world. But I don't think she would be considered a monster. She would be considered the same way as he sees the other S-Class heroes, like born with potential, born with superhuman abilities and stuff like that. Because she would essentially just be an Esper in this world, right? Unless she has some kind of transformation that I'm not aware of, she's pretty much just like a Tatsumaki and a Fubuki and a Psychos type person. So she would definitely be considered a superhuman and not so much of a monster to Dr. Genius. Last question, Devil Longhair versus G5. So I think G5 would probably... care of Devil Longhair. Given how fast he was against Atomic Samurai, now granted he did gain that ability after observing and recording his data and whatnot, but he still seems to be pretty capable of stuff like that, you know. And he has 2 swords. He can move extremely fast regardless of the data that he picked up, and he would pick up the data of Devil Longhair. And given how the 3 disciples together were able to take care of Devil Longhair, super high difficulty, I think G5 by himself could probably take care of Devil Longhair. Also, if it came down to him breaking, we saw that he has the little mini robot in him like G4, and he'd probably finish off the job if just G5 in his full state couldn't do it. Oh, and Daedric Genos for the win. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. I'm going to make a video about it Monday talking about what's probably going to happen with Genos. 1 kicks upgraded G4. Muddle stomps him. Thanks a million, Shonen. Hey, thank you for everything, Wolf Pup. You're always the best. I always love you so much, and I really like your new pledge. It's nice. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all 73 of my super awesome, cool, attractive, just mega awesome patrons, guys. I don't know what else to say at this point, but I'm going to keep throwing superlatives at you because I just love you guys so much. So thank you again. And if you would like to be in next week's Q&A, simply check out my Patreon. The $5 tier give you access to this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day. See you the next